The next month is looking to be one of the best we've had in gaming, period. These next couple months, especially, are going to be wild, but most of it comes down to these two games. Two of the best experiences that I've played in recent memory, Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders, which is crazy because we also have a beta for Black Ops 7 coming out, and I haven't seen really less hype for this game in a while. So it has me thinking, on the eve of it all, is Black Ops 7 cooked? We've all seen it in the comments if you've been into any comment section on pretty much any trailer or game lately. And just over the last week or so, we've had important updates to literally all three of these games, meaning that we're in a better spot than ever when it comes to comparing and contrasting, as well as the competition between the releases. And we'll see if Call of Duty is in danger of losing their crown, a topic we always hear about, but maybe there's some reality that I can set in here. First, let's talk about what each game is offering. If you've been totally out of the loop of all games and you're trying to figure out what to even get this year, I think a lot of people are just skipping it all together, but Call of Duty's usually the one that people get every year. They know it always comes out. So let's start there with Black Ops 7. And we've heard a lot over the last week or so. Really not much, though, compared to what we've heard in the past. Most of it going to be revealed at Call of Duty Next, which has been their go-to release point in the past. It was even as early as June with E3 when they started really revealing everything. But Black Ops is also releasing after most of these other games this year on November 14th. They're having a long beta week, though, starting next week with early access going to those who are pre-ordering. Although it does seem there's other partnerships I've seen them do, even with Game Pass members getting access. I think there's some type of program with Xfinity, so you don't have to pre-order. At least I saw an ad for it, but October 5th is really when it's going to be starting. Fortunately, just before Battlefield 6 actually releases. Interestingly, though, for the first time ever, Zombies mode is going to be playable in the beta, where they'll be showing off the beta map, Van Dorm Farm. The beta map is a slice of the larger Ashes of the Damned map. While this isn't like a remake of the old school classic Transit, I think it's of a similar vibe to that design, obviously taking a lot of inspiration from it. This is claiming to also be the largest round-based map in the franchise's history, featuring vehicle upgrades, new wonder weapons, Perca-Colas, even zombie bears in the full release. And from what I can tell from the zombie community, these guys seem incredibly hyped for what is to come. That seems to be where most of the hype is for the game. So hopefully it delivers in the beta. Activision seems to be going very hard on zombies for the marketing element as well, maybe because that is the hype mode. And realistically, it's the main thing that's setting it apart from Battlefield and Arc Raiders at this point. They did recently show off a multiplayer trailer as well that, as mentioned, had a little bit more of a mixed bag with it in terms of the reviews. Even back in the day, this was kind of a turning point for the game for a lot of players, where they started adding wall running and double jumping. Although this new system isn't quite as extreme, has a lot of mixes from the older games. It looks like they're pulling on a ton of Black Ops 2 nostalgia with the maps that they've shown off. And while it's not that full advanced movement, they do have grappling hooks and wall jumping. It's still going to be that fast-paced, sweaty game that a lot of people know and love. There's been an announcement that they're going back to the more grounded cosmetics. They're making it so there's no carry forward from the previous Call of Duty. But then even you look at the pre-order cosmetics that are in the game, where Activision had to redesign the robot bus driver, Ted's appearance to match the Black Ops 2 look even. There's also been reports that they're canceling partnerships for the game to help keep that aesthetic, which is something that they said they'd do for Black Ops 6 as well. That lasted for a month or so. We'll see how long it lasts this time, or maybe it will. But I think this is where a lot of fans have lost some of the trust, while others don't care at all, and they love all the designs with it. Obviously, they're making a lot of money from it. We also don't have too much on the campaign. We know it's going to be full co-op. They have a whole progression system and everything for it now, with even prestiging your weapons. Progress that you make in campaign carries over. All the modes that you play will carry over progress. And I think the last campaign was pretty solid. We'll see how they do with the co-op element on this one, but I would imagine it's going to be a fun story. It seems like it's even longer than they've really ever done before. But I think a big saving grace to this for a lot of people is that it's going to be available on the Game Pass, which tons of people own on Xbox PC. But you do want to buy it full $70 standard game. Presumably, we'll be getting updates to Warzone as well. But even last year, when they released Black Ops 6, we got a new Resurgence map, not a big map, and it completely destroyed the big map Warzone for Battle Royale until March when they eventually released Verdansk. They've only confirmed Avalon, that new map that people thought was even going to be coming last year, for co-op campaign, which is going to apparently open up at the end of the game to essentially a Modern Warfare Zombies type mode, a DMZ PvE mode with other players in it. And realistically, I am very doubtful that they're ever going to go back to an actual blackout gameplay that a lot of people were saying, oh, this is probably what's going to be coming a couple months ago. But realistically, that would, of course, take away all of the progression and unlocks and grinding from the game, because in that, you would just loot and everybody's on a fair playing field finding attachments and such. Nonetheless, Call of Duty's a juggernaut. This is a major player. This is coming, and in October, we're getting a long beta for it. What's also coming, though, is Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders has had some news this week. We know how much this game will now be when it rolls out. Pre-orders are starting at $40 for the standard edition, $60 for the deluxe. Both price points better than Black Ops 7. That may end up being a big draw for a lot of people's decision this year. But this is also a very different style of game. They've done a tech test for this before, but it was closed to get into it. Good news is they are doing a server slam on the 17th to the 19th that is going to be free and available for everybody to try out. You can have less content within it, but a great opportunity to see it for yourself. While, of course, Embark's, the developer for the game, their chance to actually test the servers before the launch, which I think shows a lot of confidence on their front before it comes out. It also, I think, is their opportunity to give people a demo to the game, which is pretty much what betas are these days, I think. And they're not even saying this is a beta. This is literally for them to just test the servers and make sure everything works, which is a great idea. But this all coming just 2 weeks before the launch of the game on the 30th. Hopefully enough time to make any adjustments if they need to. And while I haven't played Black Ops 7, I can't give you any thoughts on that one yet. I'll be on that in a couple days from now. I can say that I played Arc Raiders during that closed first access, and I had to stop myself from playing more of this game. It is that good. And again, it doesn't really compete directly with Black Ops. It's an extraction shooter with a decent chunk of PvE content, but it's one of the best crafted games. And I might be a bit biased because I do love these extraction shooters, but I think this is really an opportunity for console players to get into the extraction genre. Some have dabbled with games like Vigor, maybe even DMZ from Call of Duty, maybe a little bit of Hunt Showdown, but this seems a step further than all of them. The holy grail, of course, being Tarkov, but a lot of people not even taking the time to look at that game. But this is where I think so many developers are trying to make that extraction shooter and deliver. We've also got Exoborn coming out. Delta Force just dropped onto console. Even speaking of Tarkov, that in November apparently is going to be releasing to 1.0. As if this end of year couldn't get crazier. Nonetheless, Arc Raiders visuals, sound design, gameplay feels super satisfying. And I think there's going to be a decent amount of support. Seeing what these developers have done with the finals, obviously these guys being ex-DICE, at least many of them who worked on Star Wars Battlefront, Battlefield. It shows already in what I've seen from the game. On launch, there's going to be 4 diverse maps, dynamic weather, time of day variations, and evolving objectives. Needless to say, the expectations are super high, and the biggest complaint a lot of people had about it was that they teased the game might be launching at a certain time and then it didn't, and everybody was pissed because they want the game that bad. The game is so awesome though, and this is where my biggest concern lies, is that we're going to see a repeat of the past where we have an amazing game come out sandwiched between other juggernauts that ultimately has an audience, a small niche audience, but doesn't get to break out into its own full world, as we saw with Titanfall. This was a game that I absolutely loved, came out right in between COD and Battlefield, but maybe this tech test will pry people away from Battlefield shortly after it comes out. We'll see. But with the game coming out October 30th at the end of the month, that might be a decent enough window. And then, of course, we have Battlefield 6, which I've been doing a massive amount of coverage for on this channel, but most recently over the last few days of writing this script, we've had a lot of footage regarding the campaign come out. And to be frank, it looks like a Battlefield campaign. Now, I've heard good reviews and some not as keen. While I don't think it's the main reason people even play a Battlefield game, I do think it is a major entry point for any FPS game. And At least from the footage that I saw, the destruction looks epic. It looks to be giving many authentic military vibes, whether it's the weaponry, the vehicles, or even that destruction. I imagine this could pull a lot of players in, but multiplayer is, of course, where a lot of people are very excited. The playtests have been packed. At one point, there was queues of over 100,000 people trying to get into the game. And while we all saw the recent creator coverage of Morocco Valley, Operation Firestorm, their big maps that were excluded, of course, from the beta, we've now got even more, including coverage of the new Manhattan map, this coming straight out of the Tokyo Game Show. Actually, just saw this about 30 minutes ago before recording this script, where you can actually access the roofs as part of the gameplay. There's even an objective on one of the roofs. A nice top-down shows no jets, but we do have heli, tanks, and light infantry vehicles, at least for Conquest. We got to see all the new gadgets, everything that's going to be included in the full launch, including those jets. But you have the classic rolls back and things that people have been wanting from Battlefield for a long time. But the biggest news, though, that they came out with, at least from what I saw, was the Portal mode and being able to fully modify and create maps. Now, it is limited to the assets that are in game, but we saw a recreation of Dust 2 that every game is obliged to do that's a shooter. But on top of that, custom scripted modes like jet races, stuff that you could do in things like Grand Theft Auto, including being able to create custom UI for the different modes that you create, creating zombies modes, all while still being able to earn XP while you play, although there's going to be limitations and restrictions to it as there is in 2042, and we'll see if they can pull it off better than they did at the 2042 launch. But EA is setting an ambitious target of 100 million players as their goal, and realistically in the FPS category, I would imagine that's going to require pulling some of these other players from other games. And especially nowadays, I'm seeing more and more people who are either leaving multiplayer gaming as a whole, whether it's due to cheaters in every single game, or restrictions on time, limiting them to really just one game being able to main and play, that I do think there is going to be more of a decision this year in what people decide to buy and play. And I know there's frustrations with seeing comparisons of games that don't always stack up very well. Being as involved as I am with all of these different games, I thought it would be fun to bring this together and also see what all of you guys who watch these videos think. How do the games stack up? Black Ops 7 versus 6. COD has had consistency, Game Pass reach, zombies hype, but Battlefield feels like it is swinging for the fences here between the campaign, destruction, Portal, having a whole package with the multiplayer and a battle royale that they haven't even really discussed yet. It feels fresher, especially since it's been a while since we've had a big Battlefield, and we always get the same COD. Maybe this is the year people switch it up. We've seen Battlefield successfully lose its audience with 2042. Could that same thing happen with Call of Duty? Realistically, the game is as massive as they say it is, and with the rate of content that they release, I'm still not convinced that COD is ever going to go anywhere, but I don't anticipate another Battlefield 7 coming next year, so this is going to be a pretty big year. As for the rest of the competition, I know there's more games than even Arc Raiders coming out this year. You tell me if there's another one that's got you more enticed than all of these, but especially for the fact that I didn't mention earlier, Arc Raiders is a third-person shooter, but I know it's one that has been massively hyped, by myself included here. I'm excited, but will it get left behind here is definitely a concern. I will say the support for the finals that they've done has been so incredible, with each season adding on to the game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something similar with Arc, where multiple seasons in, they deliver into the new year as well. But every single year, people always say it's the final straw for Call of Duty, and it's always here still. They have a very solid pace for content and enough nostalgia strings to continue to pull on. Battlefield has a similar thing. Heck, I think Halo even still has more opportunity up its sleeve. But Battlefield 2042 proved something. Even juggernauts can fall if they push too far and lose the community. COD isn't necessarily immune, but needless to say, I think this is going to be a very wild next couple of months. That's for this one, though. Thanks so much for watching. Stoneman64, over and out.